I am EBRIMA SAWANEH from Kids in Technology. Our website kidsintechnology.org. So in this tutorial, I'll be guiding you from scratch to a pro programmer. So we are starting from HTML and CSS. So follow me and don't forget to subscribe, like and comment on anything you've seen in the video that you don't like or you like about or anything else. So follow me through this tutorial. I will help you out. You will build your first website. Hi everyone, today in this video, this is my first programming video. I'll be guiding you from scratch to a pro program. So we will start with markup languages. What are markup languages? They are used to make up the website. For example, if we check this website, maybe Amazon. Now we have markup languages. We have HTML and CSS. In this first video, we will be going with HTML and CSS. By the end of this tutorial, you will be able to build HTML website and design it with CSS. It's very easy. It's not complex as you think. So Amazon here, this website, the arrangements, what you are seeing right now is the markup. It was built using markup languages, you see, like HTML and CSS. Good. So this text you are seeing and the design, the text I can say was done with HTML. HTML means hypertext markup language. Hypertext markup language. The HTML structures your website. Maybe if you want a search bar, you put a search bar, header 1, header 2, paragraph, but it will not be arranged. So if CSS interfere in it, CSS will arrange it. That's why you see this pictures moving. CSS will arrange it. I don't know whether you're understanding what I'm talking about. Good. So in order to build this, in building websites, you have two things. You have front end and back end. Front end is what you are seeing as a user. It's the graphical user interface, the interface you are seeing. But back end is the server side. When you click here cart, when you click cart, it moves to this end. What you are seeing, this is what you are seeing. But the time you click at cart, what happens you don't know. When you click at cart, the browser send information to the server, and the server bring the information back to you, and that information comes in the form of that information that comes is the front end. You will not be able to see the back end. So we have front end developers and back end developers, and programming languages and markup languages are different. Markup languages, you can use markup languages to create web designs like this, good web designs. But backend languages, programming languages, you will program a computer. You will ask the computer to do a specific task. Maybe the computer will count the number of notifications you are getting every day, pack it, count again, pack it, another day, pack it. At the end of the month, do some calculations, bring out the average, the highest, the lowest. Or maybe you can even, some programming languages like Python, you can use it to program robots. artificial intelligence, and so on. So we have some programming languages like Python, JavaScript, C++, C#, C, Swift, Objective-C. There are a lot of programs. So for you right now, what you need to know is HTML and CSS. It's not a one-day project. You have to learn it gradually. So we'll start by HTML and CSS. We will build nice interfaces. Then I'll be guiding you through till you reach the pro level of programming. So what you need to do is you need to download a software called Sublime text editor. Download Sublime text. This software will help you to write codes. This software will interpret the codes. You can download it for OS X, Windows, Windows 64 bits. Good. So it finished downloaded. Let's go ahead and install it. Yes. Next. Now it's installing. Finish. Now the software has finished installing. Let's go ahead and open it. Now I've opened my Sublime text. So the first thing we need to do is create a file and save it. Now let's go to file, new, file, save as. Will save, because if the file was already saved, it will just save it. But if it at this stage, if we click save, it will go to save as because it is not saved. So let's just click save. If you want, you can also click save as. It's all the same for this thing. So let's save it in desktop. Let's go into desktop. Let's create a new folder there. Control Shift N. Let's name it HTML/CSS. Okay. Now let's enter. Okay. Let's name our file as my web.html. Save. Now the extension is very important, this .html. If you save your file with .txt, it will the computer will see it as a text file. HTML, the computer will see it as a HTML file, and that is what we've done. Do not forget to put .html when saving, because that is the extension. If you don't put that there, your work has no use, it won't work. So let's type HTML, tab, press on tab key, let's write our title, my first website. Now you see this HTML, we have the document type HTML. Now the HTML tag comes first. We have the HTML tab at the beginning and at the end with HTML, so that all what we are coming to do will be inside HTML. Anything we do that is not inside this HTML, it won't work. Now head, we have the head, title, body. So the body also is in the HTML, so anything we'll do will be inside the body. So let's go ahead and create our header one. To create header one, you just need to type h1, meaning header one, and tab key. So let's write let's make it capital, my first header, another one h2, meaning header 2, tab, shouldn't be in capital, h2 tab, my second header, and h3 tab, my third header. Now you have h1 to h6, Now let's save it and see. To save it, just press on the control button and click save. That is the shortcut, the fast way. But you can also come here, file, and save. Now just right click on anywhere and open in browser. Now you have my first header, my second header, and my third header. Let me arrange this so that now let's cool. So here h1 is bigger than h2, h2 is bigger than h3, and h3 will be bigger than h4, h4 will be smaller than h3, h5 will be smaller than h4, and h6 will be the smallest. This is how easy it is. So right now what we are writing is HTML. We've written our paragraphs. Now let's go ahead and add we've written our headers. Now let's go ahead and add 2 paragraphs. Just P and tab, LORT. This one is a fake text, it's an inbuilt, lorem, and tab. Another paragraph, P, tab, lorem, tab. Good. Now we have 2 paragraphs. Let's save it and run our browser and refresh it. Good. Now we have two paragraphs and our headers. Now this is the HTML. All what you are seeing is the HTML. Is the structure of the website. The structure of the website right now, we have first header, second header, third header, and 2 paragraphs. Now your website, if your website is like this, it's not attractive, it's not good, it's not arranged properly, people will not like it. Your visitors will will not be much, and people, yeah. So let to style it, just come here, enter under the title, write STYLE and tab. Simple. Between them, enter. Now in CSS means cascading style sheets. CSS is used for styling, only styling. Now let's use the HTML selectors for now. That is what you need to know. The HTML selector. This H1 here is is a HTML tag. H2 is a HTML tag. H3 is a HTML tag. Now let's select H1. All you need to do, be in the style, tap H1, shift and the curly brackets. Let's change the color to red color. Good. RED and a semicolon. Let's save it. If you don't save it, your work won't work. If you don't save it, it won't work. So let's save it and run it. You see, now we have my first header colored in this. Now let's style our second header. What you need to do is the HTML selector here, the name of that header, that is H2 curly brackets. Let's change the color to blue. Blue. Save and run. The color is blue. Now let's make this H3 header, because it is very small. Let's make it bigger. So what you need to do, H3 curly brackets, font size, font dash font size, let's make it 35 pixels. Terminate, Control S. You see. So this is the basics of HTML and CSS. I would like you to follow me in my further videos to know more about HTML and CSS, especially CSS. I will guide you from scratch to a pro programming. Thank you. Welcome back to my second video. We will continue from where we stopped. Good. Now this other tutorial will be doing more of CSS than HTML. We will by the end of this lesson, this header will come, all these headers will come in the middle. This one will stay and the other one will come this side, and the paragraphs will be arranged. They'll be given borders, widths and other CSS styles. Yeah. So now we have H1 already in the CSS, in the styling. So let's take H1 to the middle. Let's take H1 to the middle. So to do that, press enter, and here text alignment, text dash alignment, text alignment. Let's make it center, CNTER, TER. Text alignment center. Save. That means you are moving the text to the center of the page. Oh, text align. Text align. It's not text alignment, it's text align. So text align center. Forget that. Reload. Now the text is in the middle. This other text is already at the left. The alignment is already at the left. So my third header, let's move my third header to the right. So let's just see float. No, let's move it to the yeah, float left. Good. Float left. Why this happened is because wait. Now this text, this side, the other one that side. So in order to prevent this text from coming up, if I push this other text, it's also I can use CSS to do that, but that one is, I can say it's advanced CSS. We will do all that. I'll be guiding you through this. It's a path. Let's remove this one so that it will go back. Control S. Now let's underline our first header, which is the H1. To do that, just come on text decoration underline. Good. Text decoration underline. Let's reload it. Now our text is underlined. Now let's change the font family, the font style of the text. To do that, that attribute is the font family, font dash family. Let's make it a sans serif. Good. Font family sans serif. You see the font has changed to sans serif. Now this paragraph here, this paragraph, good. Let's make this paragraph text a little bigger and give it a border. To do that, we need to take this P here, P curly brackets, font size, let's make it 20 pixels. Terminate. Let's reload. Good. Now let's give them a border. Let's make it border 1 pixel, solid border in blue color. Terminate. Control S, save. Good. Now we have blue borders. Now these borders, you can increase the size of the borders by these pixels. Let's make it 5 pixels and see the effect. The border is more thick, it's thicker. Now let's make it dash instead of solid. Yes. ED. You see, now the border is dashed. We can also make it point, I think, dot, dot. No, there's not that. Let's leave it solid. And now this if we target P, here, P will affect these two paragraphs because these two paragraphs have the same names. So maybe you want the first paragraph to have a solid border and the second paragraph to have a dashed border. To do that, let's change the second paragraph to a, let's reload here. See. Okay, now let's change the second paragraph to a dashed border. To do that, you have to bring the class. Now just enter here after the P, inside the P tag, space and write class. Enter. Now give it a class. Let me give it my paragraph 2. Paragraph 2. Now let's go to the CSS to style it. Whenever you have a class, to style it in CSS, you have to type a dot first before it. Paragraph. If not, it won't work. Paragraph. You can give this class any name, but make sure that the name you give inside this class should be the same here in order to represent the tag. Paragraph. Now let's make it border 1 pixel, 1 pixel solid, no, dash gold. Maybe you wanna get gold, so let's use gold. Save. If you don't save, it won't work. What's going on? Dot paragraph 2. You see, I got a mistake writing the name. I don't write the correct name. Instead of paragraph 2, I wrote only paragraph. Let's add that, save it. If the name is not correct, it won't work. Good. You see now it's gold color. Let me change it pixel to, so that you will see properly. Now you have good, and that is it for the second tutorial. Keep going with me. I'll guide you from scratch to pro programming. Okay, thank you. See you in the next video. Welcome back to another tutorial. We'll continue from where we stopped. Now the next thing we have to do is, let's forget about this one. Let's mark it as the first word. Now what we are coming to do is CSS grid. We will put something in something, and that something will be also put in something. You are not getting what I'm saying. You are not getting what I'm saying, but if we are building it, you'll understand what I mean by CSS grid. Cool. So in CSS grid, you will need to use div. The class here is a div. So what we need to do is just write div and tab Now let's get into the div class. Let's give it main. It will be the main, the father. It will be the father of all the other divs inside it. Now this div, inside this div, let's create another div inside this div. Now what my first explanation is coming. Let's put a div inside this div, another div, tab, right, first first child, first child of class first child, class first child. Now let's create another div inside this div. If you want to create div and class in one move, just say div dot and write the name of the class, second child, and tab. Simple. Let's create another div inside this div dot third child. That's okay. Now all these divs are in classes, and we did class at the paragraph here. So to access this, the main one, you'll just go to the style, that which is the CSS dot main. Now let's go to the dot main. Let's give it a border. Let me save it first. You see, all these divs I've created, nothing appeared on the screen, because div is just a container. In the container, if you don't put anything, if you don't put something in the container, nothing will be there. So we have to put something in the container. But before putting something in the container is already there, but it's not visible. So to make it visible, we should put a border, like painting the container. That is my example, so that you'll understand. Take the concept that way, like painting the container, so that we'll recognize it. So let's give it a border 10 pixel, solid and green, green. Now we should give it a width. Let's give it as 85%. Now let's run it and see. Good, it appeared. We give it a width, which is 85%, but we didn't give it a height. So let's give it a height 500 pixel. Save. So now the height is 500 pixel. Let's move the box to the middle. Margin. Okay. To move it to the middle. Follow my steps. If you are not understanding, you can go back, or you can go back and replay it. You'll understand. This is simple. This is very, very simple. These are just basics. So now we've got our first div. We've got got our first div. Now the second div's name is first child, right? Let's check it out. First child, first child instead of first chick. What is chick? Chick. Hope chick is in the English dictionary. So we're gonna add it there. A new word. Okay, back to business. Come. Dot first child. Dot first child. So let's give it a width. Let's give 60%. 60%. Now this with 60%, let me show you something. This with 60%, this div first child is in the main, and the main is 80%. So if you give this div 60%, the div is not calculating the percentage of the browser of the whole page. It's calculating the percentage of the div that it is inside. You understand? You cannot be larger than something. You cannot be larger than something you are inside. So if you want to see that, we can make it 100. We can make the width 90% and see, because listen carefully. This div here, this main div is 85%, and 90% is more than 85%. Now let's give the second div inside it 90% and see the effect. 90% width and 400 pixel height. Let's make the height 400 pixels. Terminate. Save. It appeared, but the border 7 pixel solid orange. Now you see what happened. 90% is more than 85%, but how comes? This is because this first child is in this div, so it will calculate the area of the div that it is inside as 100% and remove 10% out of that, because it is inside that div. That is the simple logic here. So now let's take it to margin auto. Margin auto. Margin auto. Let's move it. Let's take it down a little. To do that, just right top. Let's make it 30 pixels. Margin top. Margin dash top. Margin top 30 pixels. Now there are two things I want. Let me make it clear: margin and padding. Margin is the movement of the object in relation to the browser, but the padding like the text. If I this text inside this paragraph, if I give it a padding, if I give this paragraph here, let me show you real quick. Paragraph to this other one, let me give it a margin and see. Margin, let me give it. You have margin top margin left, margin right. If you say margin left, it will move maybe margin left 10% or 10 pixel or 10 em. It will move 10 em, 10 pixel or 10% from that side. Margin top, margin the same. So margin auto means center. Now let's do this one. Margin top 20 pixels, 20 pixels per minute. You see it moved 20 pixels with a padding and see padding let's give it padding 20 pixels. Padding 20 pixels. You see the text moved, but margin, this box moved. If you say margin, the box will move because these are the margins of the box. But padding, the content inside that box, in the content inside moved. So let's continue with our grid. Now let's go for the second child. Just copy that, copy this, Control C, Control V. Now this other one also will calculate this one's area and remove 90% out of it. Let's change the color to purple, URPLE. The height to 300 pixels. Let's save that. No, it should not be dot first child, it should be just second child because I copied it. Second. You see CSS, the last tile you apply is what it will obey. That is what it do obey. See. Good. Now we have a div inside a div and a div inside another div. So you see this grid is very beautiful. Let me zoom it. You see this div is very beautiful. So let's make the div more colorful and play with CSS. Let's play with CSS. Let's show CSS that we have a skill. With this is a good design. This is a very nice design. So let's show CSS that we have a skill. So to do that, let's go back. Let's give them background color. Now this other one, let's give it background color as RGB. That means red, green and blue. 200. $55. 100. Now let's give this one a color as orange, and the first one as green. Give it color green. Save that. Reload. Oh, it should be background color instead of color. That's why it worked for this one. Let's change this one to background. Background as color. Yeah. Now you see we've played with HTML. We've played with this to show HTML that we can design something with you. This is what we've done so far. So this is the grid. You can create more and more. You can do a lot of things with this grid. It doesn't necessarily mean that grid to do grid is only to design this, to put something into something and so. No, you might have a box, you put paragraph into that box, maybe you move it, play with it, just to show you how to code it. It doesn't necessarily mean that this is the only task you can do with grids. No, there are a lot of tasks. Play with it, play with these codes, play with programming. Yeah. Guiding you from scratch to a pro programmer. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Follow me. This is the end of the tutorial for this part. It is beginning part. So hope to see you in further videos in high CSS coding. Hope you enjoy the video. Don't forget to subscribe, like and comment. Please stay tuned.